What's up, everyone? Actually, so giving you an update on what's happening in San Francisco. So actually, I believe the SF City ordered everyone to stay at home. They can still try to do some regular activities, but got it. There's no events being held as well, and people, are suggested to maybe stay 6 feet away from each other. And everyone's required to work at home or stay at home for now, at least. So yeah. Whew. Well, that means I'm staying in more, and also food delivery services for at least Popeyes. I'm not sure how it is for other ones, but Popeyes has free delivery due to the coronavirus, which is very nice. And you should give like a decent tip to your drivers since they have to make a living as well, right? In these tough times. So yeah, let's get into it. Quick. Mm-hmm. And I think everyone's required to stay until home until like April 7th, which is like 2 week time period. Quite like, long. So I remember I was thinking about picking up a new show. Actually, I haven't watched Game of Thrones or Stranger Things. I've heard good things about those two shows, except for Game of Thrones. There was even if you haven't watched Game of Thrones, there was like a big outrage on how Game of Thrones ended. Right? It was kind of weak. I heard. And also in San Francisco, my mom's actually sent me an email of what places are forced to be closed. I think to prevent the spread. Like restaurants, dine-in restaurants, gyms, of course, which that area has tons of people and a lot of people are touching machines and stuff like that. So it's prone for bacteria to spread like that. There's some other places also I forgot. It's funny. The other day, actually, my mom she stocked on so many groceries. The most groceries I've ever seen her bring home. I think she brought 5 full bags of groceries. It's crazy. She stocked up on some ramen, particularly Korean ramen. My dad likes the gomtang ramen, and then she also got me some shin ramyun. And then she said they ran out of my favorite ramen, which is jin ramen. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed in that, but I can't complain. You gotta take what we can, man. And then she also had a lot of spam as well. Actually, when Game of Thrones and Stranger Things started, I actually watched like the first 2 episodes of each. I know Game of Thrones. I heard the first season is pretty slow, and probably picks up later on. And then also Stranger Things. I watched a couple episodes. I felt like, I mean, not all shows start off really good. Sometimes you have to let the plot develop, right? But yeah, maybe since I have more free time, I probably need to pick up one of the shows. I'm not sure about Game of Thrones because if you hear a show has a bad ending, that kind of ruins the series as a whole for me, at least. Why the worst thing you can let down a fan is you made the whole series throughout really good, and then you end up with a weak ending. That's no excuse. And considering the fandom and the fandom of Game of Thrones fans, you let them down, right? And I remember when the final episode or season ended as well. Fans outraged and said, "Oh, maybe can you redo the last season?" But I doubt that's gonna happen, right? Okay, let's talk about this past weekend's episode of Haikyuu. So finally, we're getting into the meat and gritty, the good stuff of the season. I know it's like pretty much the season's almost over. I believe the season only has like 13 episodes, and we just started the Inter High Inter High tournament. Excuse me. And yeah, in this episode, the boys play the first game. So in the opening sequence of this episode, Hinata actually he finds out he doesn't have his shoes. So when he was in the bathroom, the little boy actually excuse me, actually has the same bag coincidentally, which is kind of stupid, right? Chances of that are so low. And the boy actually switched his bag with Hinata's, and eventually, um, they come in contact with the mom and her son because Hinata's phone's in there as well, and they actually pick up. And Kyoko rushes to the train and tries to meet them up. And during this time, Kyoko recalls some fond memories from her past. So I didn't know before that Kyoko was actually a track runner. I believe she was a hurdler, and she was quite athletic. And man, oh man, can I say Kyoko's abs? Woo! She's looking fine. But anyways, yeah, she was on track, and then one day she injured herself, and I believe maybe that could have been a career-ending injury, maybe prematurely. I'm not sure, but eventually, I believe Daichi reached out to her and said, "Oh, are you in a club right now? And we would love to have a volleyball manager." And then yeah, eventually she came around, and at first she thought it was an excuse for herself to get her mind off track, off the track team, just because to distract herself as the manager on the men's volleyball team. Right, previously before the men's volleyball team at Karasuno didn't have a manager for quite some time, but they finally had one. And Kyoko, throughout her, I believe this is her last year in high school, she had so many good memories, forming bonds with the seniors, making friends, and she finally can pass down the torch to the new manager that joined recently. So let's get go. So yeah, before she was battling on the track team, right? But now her battle is as a volleyball manager, supporting her boys on the team, right? So that was nice to see. There's a little glimpse of Kyoko's past. And then, okay, yeah, and then the team where Kurasuno was playing, in the beginning, we're getting smashed, right? Kageyama doesn't feel like himself. He sets the the ball a little too high from Hinata, and there's a couple times, and his sets aren't quite there yet, and he needs to adjust. And he actually apologizes to the team after you know, some bad plays on his part, and eventually he comes around. I'm not sure how to quite say the other team is, but I'm probably gonna butcher. I'm not gonna say it, but if you're watching Haikyuu, you know who they are. So like pretty much the Karasuno has to watch out for the number 4. I think um he's number 4. Yes, number 4. I think he plays opposite hitter. I'm not quite sure what position he plays, but yeah, he's number 4, and they gotta be wary because I think that he's their best hitter, right? And then actually, and then my boy Tadashi comes in with his nice floaty serves that are hard to receive, and then he gets 2 points for the team. And then, we're still a little down. I think it was like 12-15 by the end of this episode. But yeah, and then Tobio, it was so hype. Tobio finally gets into rhythm as a player. There's always those times when there's loud noises from the crowd and whatnot. Then he zeroes in and it's all quiet, and he just ignores all the noise from the outside. And then there's like this cool animation part. Man, a lot of people are complaining about the animation, how the characters look different this season. But I read some of the manga. I haven't like read up to date because I didn't want to spoil myself, because I'm more of a anime watcher. That the anime this season is more true to the manga designs and manga art style, right? So yeah, so Tobio finally he sets up and he zeroes in, and then they say Mark locked on, he says in his head, and he finally connects with Hinata for the crazy quick that pretty much no team can really uh even stop Hinata and Kageyama once they're on a roll, right? Uh, yeah, actually, I think that's it. Haikyuu, man, I think Haikyuu, what did it come out? 2014, 2015? I think around that time I just graduated high school. I did play a little volleyball in high school, man. I really wish that Haikyuu came out when I was playing volleyball. That would have been cool. But that shouldn't be an excuse for whatever sport you're playing. You should be inspired to watching an anime to play the sport. But volleyball was really fun. Had a good time in high school, and sometimes I occasionally played it in college a little bit as well. Yeah, yeah, the sports animes that you watch, like I mean, Kuroko no Basket. A lot of fans and a lot of people who don't like it as well. I mean, I quite enjoyed it, and it was quite unrealistic at times, but that's how anime goes, right? But yeah, I enjoyed it quite much. But But there's like sports animes, you feel like inspired, or you want to pick up the sport, which is kind of funny. A lot of people do that, but I mean, why not, right? Volleyball before, I remember it was conceived as a very girly sport, only girls play. But volleyball is it's a really fun sport, and it shouldn't be looked down upon like that. But yeah, enough of my jibber jabbing. Thank you for watching. Peace.